Let's begin a discussion on what iron deficiency symptoms look like in plants. We previously mentioned that when we see a deficiency due to iron, we see intraveinal chlorosis. And so this picture clearly shows you intraveinal chlorosis. The veins are green, and in between the veins are yellow or chlorotic. And this is in corn. This is also corn. This picture, I really like this picture because I had a student share with me this picture. This is corn growing in a greenhouse. So this is growing in, they're growing in really, really small pots. They're likely root bound and they're running out of iron. They really need to be planted in the field. And so these leaves are showing a pretty severe iron deficiency symptom. And you might note where you see the deficiency symptom. We're going to talk about that in this video. So this is iron chlorosis in grape in the Western United States. So you can see the deficiency symptom. There's chlorosis or intraveinal chlorosis in new growth. And you can tell it's new growth because the old leaves are really, really large and the new leaves are not. They're still forming. More importantly, with respect to where the deficiency is located, where's the deficiency located? Like the previous slide, the deficiency is located in newer leaves. And so this tells you something about iron in plants. And it tells you that iron is not readily translocated within plants. It cannot be. Otherwise, the old leaves would be suffering and the new leaves would not be. And this is different than most of the macronutrients that we described. So how do you determine the difference between a macronutrient and a micronutrient? Sometimes, and more often than not, they manifest themselves in different portions of the plant. Okay, so these are not all over the plant, and it's either in the older leaves or the newer leaves. And in this case for iron, it's always in the newer leaves. Here is a picture of another grape plant. It is suffering from iron deficiency, intraveinal chlorosis on the newer leaves. This is a recently planted peach orchard in western part of Colorado. And you may note that there's some chlorosis occurring in actually the newer leaves. It might be hard for you to tell, but it is the newer leaves. And if you look at it, at one of these plants up close and personal, it is the newer leaves. You can clearly see that on this new growth occurring off of these stems. And this is a better picture of that chlorosis. This is iron deficiency manifesting itself as intraveinal chlorosis in newer leaves. And I go back to the first day of class and I share with you what you're going to learn from this class. So here's a picture of a maple tree that's suffering from iron deficiency. And how do we know it's iron deficient? If you look at the older leaves, they look healthy. And if you look at the newer leaves, they are deficient. And more often than not, it's likely an iron deficiency. That's what an iron deficiency looks like, intraveinal chlorosis on newer leaves. So to really drive home the message so you can diagnose these deficiencies for yourself, the symptoms are intraveinal chlorosis on young leaves or newer leaves. And so is iron mobile or immobile in plants? Iron is immobile in plants. Iron is not translocated from the older to newer leaves.